Now to Social Security reportedly breaking down. The Washington Post detailing, quote, chaos swamping the agency, long waits, waves of unanswered calls, and website crashes as voters in town halls are railing against the Elon Musk cuts and office closures.
In terms of Social Security, President Trump has repeatedly stated that he is not cutting Social Security.
The DOGE program
we have the Department of Government Efficiency that is looking at and is some.
In case it wasn't already glaringly obvious, Social Security and Medicare are on the chopping block, and the American people vehemently disagree.
For Republicans, this is a political problem, which is why they're nervous about Elon Musk publicly calling Social Security a Ponzi scheme.
From Elon Musk calling Social Security a Ponzi scheme to Trump's Commerce Secretary saying only a fraudster would notice if a payment was missing, the Trump administration is clearly out of touch with the American people. And the American people are showing up to town halls to call out the Republican Congress people. Because the fact is over 77% of American retirees rely on Social Security. Medicare is perhaps one of the most successful healthcare programs ever created in the United States. And the American people want these programs. They rely on these programs. They have paid into these programs, and they are expecting the return of their payments.
Trump's Commerce Secretary said if Social Security didn't send out checks for a month, his 94-year-old mother-in-law would not complain. Well, good for her. But he's a billionaire, for God's sake. Must be nice to have one in the family. But guess what? Most people are not so lucky. When I talk to seniors, they tell me one missed Social Security check means going hungry. It means falling behind on rent. It means skipping medications. People out there can't afford groceries, but Trump's team is telling them to go buy Tesla stock. That's their retirement plan. I mean, these people are nuts, Mr. Speaker. The bottom line is that for Republicans, Social Security is just another thing they can cut to pay for billionaire tax breaks. Well, guess what, Elon? We are not letting you get your greedy, grubby billionaire hands anywhere near Social Security. It is not a handout. It is not a giveaway. It's a benefit that 70 million Americans paid into for their entire lives, expecting that it would be there when they needed it. It is a promise, and we are going to fight like hell to keep that promise for the people who built this country.
And Musk, when he gets out there on TV and has his Doge employees go into the Social Security Administration, viewing the data, supposedly finding and discovering fraud, of which, of course, we're hearing crickets from Attorney General Pam Bondi if there was indeed fraud. The American people don't like that. They don't like when they call it a Ponzi scheme because they have paid into it. Every day of their working lives, they pay into Social Security and Medicare with expectation that the government will follow through on their promise to return their money to them. Instead of seeing that it is true that the Social Security fund, is going to need to get bolstered in the coming years because of the fact that the population is declining in the United States, the Trump administration, of course, isn't looking for practical solutions to help the working American be able to retire and rely on those Social Security requirements. In fact, they are actually trying to kick out workers, and that many immigrants come into the system and pay billions of dollars into our taxes. If they become citizens, they would pay into our Social Security and would help our declining population workforce. But instead of going that route, or the very practical route of increasing the cap on the salary on which you could tax Social Security in order to allow for more money to go into the Social Security fund, that could actually hurt his oligarch friends barely anything. We are talking pennies to the people with the kind of wealth that are trying to get rid of Social Security. So instead of going these practical routes of actually trying to increase our workforce by making our country welcoming to immigrants who want to come here and contribute, or to increasing the amount of of somebody's salary that you would pay into Social Security. They are trying to make it more difficult for people to receive Social Security. And that is just the first step.
Suppose this same 65-year-old calls the helpline to apply for Social Security, but he's told about the new DOGE rule. So he has to go online or in person. He can't drive. He has trouble with the website. So he waits until his niece can get a day off to take him to the local Social Security office. But DOGE closed that office, so they have to drive 2 hours to get to the next closest office. When they get there are only 2 people who are staffing a 50-person line. So he doesn't even make it to the front of the line before the office closes, and he has to come back. Now, let's assume it takes our fellow 3 months to straighten this out, and he misses a total of $5,000 in benefits checks, which by law, he will never get back. So, Mr. Bisignano, is that a benefit cut?
Well, first of all, Senator,
is that a benefit cut? I'm sorry, my time is limited here. That's an easy question, yes or no? Is it a benefit cut?
I have no intent to have anything like that happen on my watch.
I understand that. Is it a benefit cut?
I'm not sure what to call it.
As we know, they changed the system where you can't call in to change your bank account. Now you have to go in person, which is incredibly difficult for a senior. And the lines, because they're actually closing down offices, are difficult. But this is part of their plan, because they are making it the services more difficult. And then they will point to that. They will say, see, the Social Security Administration isn't functioning correctly. It's not working for you. We need to do something to fix it. If you don't like the way the government is providing the services, you won't mind if those services are eliminated. But here, they are the ones that are making the providing of the service more problematic, but they will certainly use that problem. And this isn't just something we are all seeing in real time by listening to their news, and seniors are seeing in real time by having it become more difficult for them to receive and change their information. But the acting Social Security Administration, in leaked video that ProPublica obtained, himself raised the alarm by what DOGE was doing. Of course, he's doing this behind closed doors because people are afraid of speaking up against Trump and Musk. But this is what he says behind closed doors. He said that, quote, it would be catastrophic for the people in our country, end quote, if DOGE were to make the kind of changes at the Social Security Administration that they did at USAID. And this was acting director Leland Dudek. And we know that the judge has basically blocked, for now, DOGE from continuing to go in and access the sensitive payment information. But long before the judge this acting director knew how problematic it was for DOGE to go into the Social Security Administration and did nothing. And the fact is, if Musk really wants to cut the budget, why isn't he looking at the defense budget? 13% of our budget. We never find fraud there. They're not going in, sending people there and firing people and cutting programs. Even though this is evidently supposed to be the peace president, we're not seeing him try to cut the billions of dollars in NASA programs that SpaceX is trying to get and send people to Mars. No, instead, he is trying to take away money from the American people because he just doesn't understand what it means to rely on a Social Security check, to need the health care that Medicare, that Medicaid is providing. You going through an illness and you are hearing your elected politicians and unelected power person like Elon Musk act as if these don't matter, but they do matter to the American people. And that's why they're showing up and calling out these Republicans at these town halls.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.